Aloha and welcome to 4-H Hale Learning. My name is Marielle and I'm an extension agent with the University of Hawaii. Today we're going to make pot cheese, which is a homemade version of ricotta cheese. It's called pot cheese because we make it in a pot. If you have the ingredients and the tools, the recipe is easy. Did you know that making cheese is actually a delicious science experiment? We can turn milk into cheese by heating it up and adding an acid to make it curdle. In this recipe, we use vinegar as the acid. When the milk gets really hot and we add the vinegar, it makes proteins in the milk stick together to create little lumps of cheese called curds. The mixture separates into the curds and a liquid called whey. This process is called coagulation. I promise it's tastier than it sounds, so let's get started. Before we start cooking, we need to get ourselves ready to work with food. If you have long hair, tie it back. Then we need to wash our hands with soap and water for 20 seconds. After you've cleaned your hands, we're ready to cook. You will need an adult to help you with this recipe because we'll be using a very hot stove and pot. Kids can help measure and pour ingredients and carefully stir the pot without touching it so you don't get burned. The ingredients that you'll need are whole milk, heavy cream, white vinegar, and salt. The tools that you'll need are a heavy saucepan or pot and a spoon to stir it, a strainer, a bowl to use with the strainer, measuring cups and measuring spoons, and some cheesecloth. If you don't have cheesecloth, you can use paper towels or coffee filters instead. It's not required, but it's best if you also have a thermometer. Either a meat or a candy thermometer should work, but if you don't have one, you'll just have to pay extra close attention. I also have a few binder clips here, which we'll use to attach the cheesecloth to the strainer. You can also use clothespins. I also have two little bowls here for the vinegar and salt so that we can have it ready and put it directly in the pot as soon as it's hot enough.
Start by measuring out 3.5 cups of milk and half a cup of heavy cream into your pot. Start gently heating this up on the stove. You want to heat this mixture until it reaches 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Use your thermometer to keep track. While your mixture is heating, measure out 2.5 tablespoons of white vinegar and half a tablespoon of salt. Pour each of them into a small bowl and keep them near the stove. If you don't have a thermometer, watch carefully to see how the mixture looks when it comes up to the target temperature. You might know that water boils at 212 degrees. Since we're going for 200 degrees, it's going to be very, very hot, but not boiling. If you start seeing a few bubbles around the edges and a lot of steam coming off the liquid, like you do here, you might be ready. Once your milk is hot enough, turn off the stove. Add the vinegar and salt and give it a quick stir, then step back. You'll see the vinegar start to act immediately as small clumps form in the milk and float to the top. That's what you want. This is the cheese starting to form. Let the mixture sit without stirring for about 10 minutes more to cool down. Once the mixture has cooled and you can see all the clumps of cheese floating in the liquid, it's time to separate the whey, that's what we call the liquid, from your cheese. If you have cheesecloth, line a strainer or colander with it. You can use binder clips or clothespins to hold it in place. If you don't have cheesecloth, use a strainer with the smallest holes you can find. You might even be able to use a coffee filter or paper towels. Set your strainer over a large bowl. Carefully pour the cheese and whey mixture into your strainer. The curds will be captured in the top, while the whey will drain through the strainer into the bowl. You'll want to give the cheese a few stirs and let it sit for a few minutes to continue draining. Once the cheese has the texture you're looking for, take what's left in the strainer and put it in a separate container. Put it in the refrigerator, and you're ready to use your pot cheese in whatever other recipes you want. After the activity, clean up your workspace in the kitchen and wash your dishes. Don't forget to wash your hands for 20 seconds with soap and water again. What would you do differently next time? How can you share this activity with others? Thank you for joining us at 4-H Hale Learning to make pot cheese. Happy cooking! Aloha!